Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla TV. We can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new REV'IT Taurus GTX Glove, available at RevZilla.com. The Taurus GTX is the new apex predator in the REV'IT cold weather line. It is replacing the Alaska and the Bastion, and it really takes tech and comfort to the next level. Coming in around the $250 mark, so think fall, winter, spring, full 3-season cold weather riding without sacrificing protection or comfort. Now, we've replaced some of the fuller leather and textile gloves that we've seen in the previous line, and really where this guy is going to sit is above something like the Borealis, which is going to be a Gore Plus grip, which again, it's still a Gore-Tex glove, but it's not using that extra fit design. You'd also see the Cyber, which would be the baby brothers to this glove. Again, here's where you go when you want the latest from a tech standpoint, where they've really thrown the kitchen sink at it. Now, some of the things that it uses that the other gloves aren't going to use. It's the only glove in the REV'IT collection that has this full double cuff. Years ago, we saw Dainese do the Jericho. Now they've done the Jericho Evo. In my estimation, this is a better glove with a double cuff closure. So again, if you see it, you have this gaiter on the inside that goes inside of your jacket, and then you have the cuff system that goes over top of it. They're also using a hard shell trionic knuckle that's coated in super fabric. It's the only glove in the line that's going to do that, and you're seeing some other creature comforts waking their way in. They really spared no expense. Now, before I get into all of the tech and all of the nuance, let's talk fitment. I'm wearing a size large. It follows the new REV'IT fitment scheme, which is really, in my estimation, American cut. I wear large in First Gear, large in Icon. I wear a large in REV'IT, and this is very consistent, even with the amount of fill that's inside this glove from an insulation and Gore-Tex standpoint. Keep that in mind. Use the size chart. REV'IT's also done a nice job of catering to the American market, has a great pre-curve, but there's plenty of room in the finger. So if you have thicker fingers than I do, it's going to be okay. It's not going to feel European to you. Keep in mind as well, we're going to ship for free over $39, and I'd love it if you would click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback around the new Taurus GTX. Now, one of the things we glanced over that you really need to hammer home here is it's Gore-Tex. Waterproof, breathable, guaranteed for life. If your hand gets wet inside this glove, Gore-Tex will replace it. That's what you're investing in. You could probably get a similar level of protection from something like the Aquila in the REV'IT line, which is using their Hydrotex proprietary waterproof, breathable material, but Gore-Tex is the platinum standpoint. I'm not even going to call it the gold standard. It's the platinum standard. Again, allowing you to sweat, wicking that sweat out through the outer materials or through that membrane while not allowing Mother Nature to get in. That's what you're investing here. Outside of Gore-Tex, the other thing you really can't see that takes this glove to the next level is the fact that they're using PrimaLoft Gold on the back of the hand, and PrimaLoft Eco Gold, which is 90% recycled materials with grip on the palm. PrimaLoft, huge step up from its wet or dry insulative qualities. Its thickness, it has to be a lot thinner than another type of fill to create more warmth. And again, you're getting it with grip in the palm of the hand, so it's not going to slide. It almost has that bonded material, so while you're adding thickness through the fill, you're not going to have it move around on you. And again, the PrimaLoft is a big step up of the Type C or Type G Thinsulate that we're seeing in some of the other REV'IT wintertime gloves. And again, it's pulling it together, it's comfortable. There's also 2 types of fleece inside this glove, a lighter fleece in the palm and a heavier duty, what I would consider a high loft monkey fur almost, that's very comfortable across the back of the hand. Now, when you take a step back and you work through some of the nuance, they're also using premium materials that are tech materials that are synthetic to complement the goatskin throughout this glove. Backside of the hand here on top of my gauntlet, I'm using Cordura 1000D ripstop, Teflon coated, so it's going to shed water, shed dirt. It has the ripstop material. It's the real deal DuPont Cordura. It's actually in Vista these days, but again, they're investing at a higher degree of denier and technicality than you would see on a gauntlet that could be very easily made from the normal flex material, which is going to be power shell stretch. It's a twill material micro ripstop in the rest of the hand, pulling everything together in your areas that have some raised protection points that are going to see less abrasion on the textile itself. Along the back side of the cuff, notice the reflectivity. It's 3M Scotchlite, and it's done in this circular pattern where your hands are on the grips. It creates that great spot that highlights the humanoid form. So again, you're getting hit with beams at night. It's going to light up. It's going to show off the fact that you're a human. You're not a stop sign. Again, people react sooner if they recognize that humanoid form. As you move out the back of the hand, elasticated panel that's done in a very tasteful way, but it's also tucked out of the way to allow the knuckle protection to move with you. Now notice this knuckle. It's a hard shell trionic knuckle coated in super fabric, tiny laser welded ceramic plates that slide 14 times longer than leather, 14 times more abrasion resistant. So again, big step up there. That's going to be coated, and that's backed with your Sea-Soft, which is a molecular style foam that has a density to it that shock absorbs. So you have your slide, your impact protection, and then you have your shock absorption baked in. We talked about our Power Shield Twill Stretch. That's going to be micro ripstop. So again, if you get in any trouble, if you puncture it, it's not going to pull on you. And then even moving into the fingers, you see some light reflectivity from the REV'IT. You have PU mid-digitally, again creating another layer of protection. And as you slide over to the thumb, it's actually going to be updated in the final production version. So you're going to see a snot patch visor wiper move on the inside of the finger and up the thumb, better than on the bottom side of the thumb. We've given them some feedback. They're going to be moving that over on the final version. Temper foam on the outside of the thumb, again for a light area of protection that's not being overly bulky. And as you roll it over to the palm, all goatskin. Goatskin carries the same protective property as cowhide, but what it also does is it holds up better when it's wet. And this glove is designed for 3-season cold weather, inclement weather riding. They've given it the diamond pattern. REV'IT calls it goat diamond. A little bit of extra grip, a little bit more tactile response from it. And notice it even has the TouchTech finger, which is their connect finger from REV'IT. Allows you to use multi-touch devices. That's what that signifies. So it'll work with an iPhone or an Android. Moving into the palm of the hand, dual comp honeycomb slider. You see this through the higher end range of the REV'IT gloves in the Cyber, in the Borealis, as we move up in the Aquila. 3 properties here. 1 is shock absorption, 2 is slide control, and the last one is it's backed with a Sea-Soft type foam, just like the knuckle, where it's going to be comfortable and disperse the impact across a wider surface area. Moving up the outseam, they did a great job capturing it. Now the last thing on this glove is REV'IT's new cuff style. And again, it's polarizing. Buzzsaw doesn't like it. I actually like it. I'm curious to see how it works over 1,000 miles. What they've done here is they've taken a double cuff closure, and what they've done is they've given you this almost set it and forget it factor here. So what happens is, if you open it, I open it this way to get it off, but what you do to cinch this when you're pulling it onto your glove, you pull it that way, it cinches it down, and then you pull it back. It's a set it and forget it single locking mechanism. So even with your gloves on, you don't have to fiddle to find it. You're able to kind of work it, cinch it down, and get it where you need it to be without having to have one hand off or the help of your friend. Again, it's technically speaking one of the advances that we've seen from REV'IT on the cinch system. In my opinion, not as solid as the Defender or the Cayenne Pro glove, which really have that different style adventure strap system, which I like the best, but I like that they're making improvements there. You'll also notice these grommets here, where you have your Gore-Tex liner, but these grommets are really going to allow any water that gets in the cuff, because it is that double style gaitered cuff. You're going to allow any water that gets in there to get out. Again, see those grommets, they work their way all the way through from the front. This is your Gore-Tex liner. When you get into the cuff, the Gore-Tex stops, but again, as you get here to the wrist, it's Gore-Tex all the way up and throughout. So remember, top of the food chain, protection, comfort. It has the grip panels. It's going to give you great tactile response. But again, using the PrimaLoft Gold and the PrimaLoft Eco Gold Plus grip, they're taking the level of warmth to the next level. Keep in mind, check out the softer knuckled Borealis, check out the softer knuckled Cyber, and then if you want super fabric but you don't want to invest in the Gore-Tex, you want to go with that H2 outliner, check out what's going to be the REV'IT Aquila H2O, which is waterproof and breathable. It's just not Gore-Tex. The next step in your journey is to click the info button, read other rider reviews at the product page at RevZilla.com. You don't have to take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free over $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown of the new Taurus GTX. Remember, subscribe to us on the YouTubes. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.